Hi everyone, it's me Dan. Welcome back to my channel. It's been a while since I've been here, but I had to move again. I'm still living in India, but I'm in a different apartment, and it just took me a while to get everything settled. So I'm here today, and I'm going to do the review of this book, The Witchwood Crown by Tad Williams. If you're not familiar with Tad Williams, he came out with a very famous fantasy series. I think it was 4 books back in the 80s called Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn. And this book is a continuation of that story set, 20, 30 years after the initial set of stories. So Tad's a very famous fantasy author. He's also written Otherland, which is a fusion of reality with virtual reality story, and Shadow March. I don't remember Shadow March that well. I just remember it being a darker fantasy novel than Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn. Anyway, it's good to see Tad writing again, and I was looking forward to reading this book quite a bit. So the book is, it's a long book, as you can see. Most fantasy books are. It's 694 pages, and it's returned to Austin Ard. And here we find King Simon and Queen Mary, having grown into middle-aged people, dealing with ruling the kingdom. They've lost their son Joshua, and their grandson is Prince Morgan. What do I think of the book? It's okay. But let's talk about the 3 main storylines as I see them, at least. You have Prince Morgan's storyline again. I didn't find that very interesting. He's just the kind of tropish, drunk, ne'er-do-well type of prince, and his parents are always wondering when will he grow up and become a man. So obviously, unless Tad Williams kills off this character in the next novel, that's going to be his journey. You can see it right from the beginning. He's going to go from being a drunk to being the hero of Austin Ard type of thing. And then there's Simon and Mary. Their story is strangely and sadly not that interesting. Mostly what they do is they sit around and talk about the good old days and how their grandson is failing to live up to their expectations, which is fine in a chapter or so, but there's 694 pages of this book. But the storyline that really kept me reading is the only one that where there's a lot of action, and there is a lot of action. In this Austin Ard series, in that world, there's 2 elven populations. The Norns in the city. The Norns are the nice guys, and the city are the dark elves. What I would call, if you were playing D&D in the 80s, they were Drow or Dro, or however you want to pronounce it. And there's a half dark elf character, so half human, half dark elf, named, and I'm probably going to butcher this, Nezeru, Nezeru, Nezeru. And her story is very interesting. It's all over the place. It's full of action. There's tension between characters. Will she get murdered? Will she not? Why has she actually been sent on this mission by the Dark Queen? What's the whole deal with that? And her father has is an interesting character, and so is her mother. So the story, The Witchwood Crown, is driven, in my opinion, the actual pacing of the story, by the dark elf story, and that's the one that I enjoyed the most. Now, would I recommend this book? I guess it all comes down to that, doesn't it? I like Tad Williams, but I would not recommend this book to somebody who's always thought, hey, maybe I'll pick up some Tad Williams and read it. This novel is just too slow. He's taken he has an advantage in that Tad does. He has a built-in large audience, and they're willing to give him a novel that's this slow for 3 or 4 additional novels where the action picks up in a world that they've come to love through reading Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn. So if you're new to Tad Williams, you're not going to get a good representation of his writing style or his storytelling from this book. It's just much too slow. So if I was going to pick up a Tad Williams book and I wanted to read The Witchwood Crown because I like the cover and the story sounds interesting, I would actually go back. I would recommend you go back and read Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn, even though the publisher and the author say you don't have to do that to enjoy this book. I think you do have to do that because this book is so slow, and that if you don't have an appreciation for the world before you come to this book, you will not get through this book. Anyway, so that's all I have for you today. Thanks for stopping by. Sorry it's been such a long time, but you know, life catches up. And at least I've, my novel, Akuta, which is a science fiction assassin novel, that's taken me an extra 6 months, but that's good too, because hopefully that'll be a better novel because of all the editing I've gone through with it. So anyway, so with all that said, it's good to be back. Nice to see you all. Let me know if you've read this book, if you agree with me about what book to pick up. If you're going to start reading Tad Williams, and I will see you all next time.